All right, how y'all doing? This video this story I came across from the neighborhood talk on Instagram, and it's titled, boom, this is the woman, the so-called mother. It says, mother killed her own daughter in a hospital in fight over crayons. Crazy, right? So here's the story I'm gonna tell y'all, and then I'm gonna give my commentary in the end. It says a mother is accused of killing her 14-year-old daughter with special needs after an argument over color crayons in the hospital. According to Miami Herald, Jasmine Singletary was battling an infection and admitted on July 8th to Incision Sacred Heart Hospital in Pensacola, where she regularly received treatment for a neuromuscular disorder. Police said in a news release 5 days later, Jasmine lost consciousness and stopped breathing while in the hospital room with her mother and grandmother. Hospital personnel performed life-saving procedures, but the teen was pronounced dead. The mom initially lied to police about her daughter's injury, but ended up coming clean and confessing to slamming the table into Jasmine's abdomen and then leaning onto the table with her weight. Oh, wow. What's crazy about this is that the grandmother says she saw it all. She says she saw the incident unfold after Jasmine threw her crayons around the room. The Pensacola News Journal reported the grandmother told her daughter to cool down, and that's just how Jasmine is. The grandmother said a few minutes later, and she heard her granddaughter say, Grandma, and then her eyes rolled back into her head. And then it says here, an autopsy conducted back on July 21st and revealed that Jasmine died from massive injuries to her ribs and liver. Injuries that were not present when she was admitted to the hospital, police said. The medical examiner indicated that the injuries were so severe that Jasmine would have died only minutes after receiving them, and that they had to have occurred while Jasmine was confined to her hospital bed. That's what the police stated. Okay, so again, this is she. I'm going to put it up over here. But that's sad and unfortunate. Rest in peace to the young teen. She was only 14 years old. She had disability problems and whatnot. And I know people are going to look at this and think, oh my God, over a crayon? No, it's not just over a crayon. This is what I think, and it's unfortunate what happened. And this mother should serve prison time. And I don't care what happens to her in prison, because you know people don't play when you do bad things to kids. So if she get her tail beat up, drag, I do not care. I don't feel sorry for this woman. But here's my thing, right? I believe people feel pressure when they have a child that's disabled and got issues and whatnot, or a lot of health problems. They may feel deep down, oh, I don't think I can handle this. I don't think I can take this. But then I also don't want to give my child up for adoption, because then people may look at me and say I'm a bad parent. How can you just give your child away? That's bad parenting. And I remember, um, uh, well, let me just stick on this first and I'll go back. So I believe that this woman tried her best to probably raise her child, but then at some point she realized, I I don't have the patience. Maybe I don't know what her financial status. Maybe financially it was hard to keep up with it, and the stress is all. And I'm not trying to make excuses for her. I'm just letting you know what happened. But as adults, regardless, you should still make the right. I don't care even at 14. If you feel like you gotta give her up for adoption, or let the grandmama or someone in the family watch over her, I prefer you do that than to harm and kill your child or anybody. But I think the problem is that they feel like, okay, you're my child. If I give you away, that means I must not love you, or other people are not going to understand. So they get so wrapped up in that. People that do stuff like this, sometimes they get so wrapped up in that, and so what they do is they take care of the child and abuse them. You know, they harm them, they beat them. They sometimes they so stressed out, they just leave them downstairs or whatever, and they just go in the room and just leave them there for hours. They don't feed them. They leave them there in their poopy pants or whatever it is that they're disabled or having problems with, and they can't really do for themselves. They get the adult that's supposed to watch over them. They get so stressed out and so mad, and sometimes, often, they act out in anger and they start hitting and beating and doing all kind of crazy stuff. I'm thinking that those things are going through my head. Like this woman, because no one harms, commits murder over on a child over a doggone crayon. This sounds like someone who's either just mentally ill and maybe has always been had a slight tick. Maybe she was abused when she was little and she just didn't deal with her drama and she's passing it on. Or it could be someone who was somewhat decent at one point, but because she didn't do the right thing and say, let me just be honest with myself, I don't feel like I can take care of this child. I don't have the patience. I just can't. Maybe emotionally I already got my own issues and I didn't think that I would have a disabled or a child with all these health issues. I just didn't dream that. And most parents don't think that. They just think, oh, I'm going to have a child. They don't prepare themselves for all type of stuff like that. So I believe that's something that crossed my mind. Like I said, it could be two things. It could she could have been already was crazy. She could have been like went through a rough life and just been abused and passed it on. Or she could have been fairly decent upstairs, and then the stress that comes with this, because it is very stressful, and it takes a certain kind of person to say, I can handle this, and I got the patience and love and all that to do this. And then some people are, I don't care if their parents are not, clearly they are not cut out for this. And again, I don't want your guys thinking that I'm making excuses for her, because trust me, I'm not. She should go to prison. I don't care if someone snatches her by her hair and tear her ass up. I'm actually, that would be good if that does happen. But I'm just saying, um, sometimes if you out there and because me and my friend one time was having this discussion, and we was having it with another friend, and she was just like, hey, do you think that you have what it takes to take care of a child that have all these special needs and all this stuff like that? And me and her was saying like, I was saying like, I don't know about that. I don't know if I could, because I have my own issues in terms of mental, like depression and stuff like that, and trying to get that together. And I got a hold of it. But if I were to have a child that needs that, I got to be honest with myself and say, would I be able to handle all of that? I said, I don't know. I would like to believe that I would. I don't know. My other friend was like, I don't think I could do it. And she got her own issues too. Like she shuts down for days when she's not, in a mood or whatever, going through something personal. Everyone has their own trauma. So my friend got kind of like offended by it. Like she got kind of like mad, like, oh no, that's crazy. I wouldn't do that to my child. And if you can handle it, that's great. But y'all, I'm telling you right now, I don't care what anybody said. If you know good and doggone well you cannot handle raising a child that needs special needs or care or whatever, if you know you're not cut out for it, or you can even try to, and you go, I can't do it, I just can't. It does not mean that you don't have love. It just means that you know yourself enough. And I want you to say, bump what anyone else thinks. Loving your child sometimes is saying, you know what? I can't do this because my mental and I just can't do it. I don't want that child to end up. You had all kind of crazy stories on Snap, and you wonder why all these little churn be dying, because people ain't got no business to be even having churn in the first place. A child by itself, that's a lot of work. So shout out to the mothers out there. That's a job. So can you imagine if a child got special needs and all of that? Some people just can't handle that. And sometimes you might get that surprise. And it's okay, because there's something that you can do about it. There's so many people are waiting to give a child love and can take care of that type of child that needs that type of person that has those skills and know how to handle that. There are actual professionals that know how to handle stuff with that. Like they're just cut out for it. And some people are not. And sometimes you may give birth to a child like that, and you have to be honest with yourself and be dang what anybody else thinks. If someone want to think that you're a bad parent, people say, oh well, that's their business. But you are doing the right thing as a parent to say, I just don't think I could handle this, and that is okay. Give them up for adoption. You ain't gotta harm. You ain't gotta beat the child. You don't have to resent the child and tear the child behind up and kill him. That's crazy. That's ridiculous. So I'm just saying. I think that when I hear these type of stories, those type of stuff go through my head because I know it's not about a crayon. It's not about a crayon. This is someone who is either mentally ill or just like really stressed out and has been just taking it out on his child instead of doing the right thing and say, hey, I can't handle this. Now, as for the grandma, I know I see some people in the comment section on the neighborhood talk. They're saying that, well, what about the grandma? She needed this, she needed that, she needed to get jail too. Look, I don't know how the grandma look. I don't know how old the grandma is. I don't know if the grandma can even make a good run. So who knows? She probably intimidated by her own doggone daughter. I don't know enough to say on that. Um, so I don't want to put that on the grandma, but it would have been nice if she could have intervened and protect her. But again, I don't. For all I we know, the grandma probably can't even walk. So what's she gonna do? So I don't know. But as far as this so-called mother, this is a sad situation and it's unfortunate. But she has been arrested and she's gonna serve prison time, I'm sure. And I hope someone teaches her a lesson. That's my opinion on it. Comment in the comment section what you think about the situation. Yeah, give me a thumbs up and subscribe, hit that bell.